Hello. Hello. It's me. Okay, so I thought it would be fun to start a new case today. It's my phone alerting me that I'm playing a game. Wow, that's so crazy. I'm streaming on Twitch? Wow, I didn't know. Anyway. I think this is a new trial. If it's not, then like, shoot, I screwed myself over with the title of my stream. Wow!
In a corner of that small, dark room, Sholmes and I waited with bated breath.
Sholmes?
In time, there came from the ventilator a hiss and a soft, almost growl-like sound. Suddenly, Sholmes sprang into action, lashing furiously with his cane at a point in the darkness. "You see it, Wilson?" he yelled,
Wilson?
his tense voice reverberating through the air. I raised my dark lantern shutter, and the room slowly came into view. Sholmes was staring intently at one particular corner when he started whispering to me. The victim's most perplexing final words. The speckled band.
Ah!
I believe this is the terrible coil to which she referred, Wilson. In front of us was an enormous adder, its fangs bared as it threatened to strike.
Oh no.
It truly was the most terrible speckled band I had ever seen.
We're on a steamship?
So then, let us unravel this mystery and discover what events led to this curious murder.
Who the heck are
Pray, do
you?
explain. The cabin door was bolted from the inside when the man was killed. No marks to suggest the bolt was tampered with in any way. So, this would appear to be a locked room mystery. In his final moments, the victim scrawled a message on the floor. Almost certainly with the ink from this upset bottle. A Russian word. So the victim was a Russian man then. And the letters are well formed, suggesting he was compos mentis at the time. This is a most extraordinary script. And evidently not penned by the same hand as this message. In fact, I deduce it was written by someone of a different nationality. This paper seal was placed just prior to the incident, by the victim himself, I would venture. Well, what have we here?
Who are you, and what do you think you're doing here?
No one must touch before maritime police come. We must wait.
Shh. That won't be necessary. You see, in less than 5 seconds from now, I will reveal the killer to you.
What? Don't be absurd. This is murder. And in cabin locked from inside.
Ah yes, the locked room. But that mystery is paper thin.
It was suicide! Just kidding.
You don't mean the culprit is in there?
Who are you, and where have you come from?
I'm a great British consultant detective, the only one in the world. Herlock Sholmes. I presume you must have heard of me.
Oh my gosh. Ugh, my head is throbbing. What's going on? Something's not right here. There's trouble in the air. Wait. I can't move. Ah, what the? Why am I in handcuffs? Humph. So, you wake up now, We had to drag you out of the wardrobe. I do not believe how you could not wake up. You are a true cold-blooded man. You... Ah, you found me then. We found you, and now you pay. Criminal! How long are you hiding in that tiny wardrobe, sorry. Now you have been found. It is time to admit your crimes. Unless you want to find out how cold the ocean is, No, I'll tell you everything. There's only one thing I'd like to know from you. Isn't that... Why did you do it? Why did you take his life? Miss Susato. Wait, what did you just say? Take his life? Where is he? Where's Kazuma? Ha! You pretend you do not know? You are a wolf in a sheep's belt. You are the killer! Do not try to make excuses. What? Kazuma-sama's body was discovered not long ago. My friend! Dude, just go past him! Here, in this very cabin that was bolted shut from the inside. His body? Please. Do not try to tell us you are doing this terrible thing in your sleep. Kazuma's dead? But he can't be. And these handcuffs, surely you don't think I have to know. Why'd you take Kazuma-sama's life? Answer me, please! No. No! Kazuma, it was just 2 short weeks ago. Are you sure about this? Won't we get in trouble? Ha 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 ha! Don't you find it fun being a stowaway? Besides, how else could you come to England with me to study? It was really something else when they brought your luggage in here earlier, though. The way that Russian crewman just tossed your traveling case onto the floor. I thought I was going to die. Yes, I still can't quite believe that. I really didn't think you'd be able to fit inside my trunk. Holy crap! You must be even less of a man than you look. Honestly, I thought I'd broken every bone in my body. Well, it's about 50 days until we dock in Great Britain. But if you confine yourself to my cabin here, I don't expect anyone will discover you. I hope not. I get the feeling those Russians wouldn't be very forgiving of a stowaway. They're a sturdy bunch, that's for sure. What I want to know is, why do we need to keep it a secret from the young lady? From our faithful judicial assistant Mikotoba, you mean? From your close friend, more to the point. Surely we could confide in her, couldn't we? I don't believe she'd give me away. No, but if she knew what we'd done, that would make her guilty. But if she knew what we'd done, that would make her guilty by association. It's best that only you and I know about this. I suppose so. Anyway, it's about the time that the steward is supposed to come and clean the cabin. I know it's cramped, but you'd better get in there, I think. It won't be for long. And anyway, compared to hiding inside my traveling case, it'll be a breeze. Yes, but what if the steward decides to open the wardrobe for some reason? Then I'll be in for it. Stop worrying. I tell you what, why don't you write "keep out" or something on this piece of paper? What? Then I can stick it over the wardrobe drawers once you're inside. I don't know. We've only been at sea for about 15 days. How can this have happened? Only 15 days? That's a long time, man. We were supposed to be going on this adventure to England together. We leave you at next port. Stay quiet until then. Don't make more trouble for yourself. Murder! No, I'm not a murderer! Ah, you said it before. You said you admit everything about your crimes. No, that's not right! I think my accent sounds more like an Indian accent than German. I mean, yes, I did stow away on the ship, but murdering my best friend? No one else could have done it. Admit the truth. Susato-san. Please, tell me what happened. I need to know. Very well. But there is something I would like to ask of you, too. Ugh, those eyes. She looks like she's ready to destroy me. This nightmare is getting worse by the minute. I suppose all I can do is try to find out what really happened. Oops. He really has been killed, hasn't he? This isn't just a bad dream? And these handcuffs. They think I did it? They think I'm Kazma's killer? When they found him, the cabin was locked from the inside. What do you mean? There's no access to the cabin via a porthole window, and the bolt on the door can't be uprighted from outside. In other words, after the crime, the culprit couldn't have escaped these four walls. What? Or to put it another way, the culprit can only have been someone inside this cabin. Or do you have some other explanation? This is impossible. How did he die then? What happened exactly? Are you still going to deny the charge, even despite the circumstances? Please, Susato-san, you have to tell me. The cause of death is still undetermined. They don't know how he died? The ship's doctor is examining the body, but of course, he has no post-mortem analyst experiments. I don't suppose we shall learn more until an expert has been consulted at our next port of call. So presumably that means there were no obvious external signs of injury then? That's true, yes. Shoot! No! Oh, man. Blah, 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 blah. Okay. Can't anyone tell me what actually happened here in this cabin? I don't understand it. Why would anyone want me to kill... Why would anyone want to kill Kazuma? Presumably that's something you know the answer to better than anyone. Please. Whatever you say, you were here in the cabin after all. Well, yes, I was, but... He would always wake before dawn and do his training first thing in the morning. I was waiting outside his cabin, as I have every day so far on this voyage. But this morning, he did not come. I could sense that he wouldn't. Does that mean he was already dead when Susato-san arrived at his cabin door, I wonder? I knocked, but there was no reply. Then I started to become worried, so I went to find a member of the crew. The crewman forced the cabin door open, and when we managed to get inside, there was Kazuma-sama, collapsed on the floor. And the white tape there now shows exactly where he was found, I suppose. I had no idea anything had happened. I must have been asleep in the wardrobe somehow. I wish it wasn't the case, but that's just very hard to believe. This is all very hard to believe for me too, trust me. Now I've told you everything that I know, so it's my turn to ask you a question. Yes, alright. My head feels so heavy. It's still throbbing like anything. Why are you even on board this ship, Naruhodo-san? You said something before about being a stowaway, didn't you? Oh, yes. I'm afraid that's true. It's 2 weeks since we left Japan now, and I've been shut up in this cabin the entire time. I had no idea. But how could you have occupied Kazuma-sama's cabin for so long without him noticing? No, that would have been impossible, obviously. Yes, of course. Cosmo invited me. He wanted us to go to England together. He actually asked you? But why? I'm afraid I don't really know the reason myself. I don't understand. Cosmo, why do you want this? What's the real reason? Why go to such extreme lengths to smuggle me to England with you? It's an idea that's been on my mind ever since the end of that incredible trial. I think I told you then, didn't I? That you ought to become a lawyer yourself? Well, yes, you did say that, but I didn't think you were serious. You have a talent for it, I can assure you of that. But I've never really thought about becoming a lawyer. Well, that's something you can decide for yourself. London is at the spearhead of cultural development, the center of the world in many ways. There can't be any harm in seeing such an important place with your own eyes, can there? Well, no, definitely not. But on a personal level, if you were to become a lawyer, then... Then what? Nothing. Forget it. Kazuma-sama he was always saying the same thing, that he wanted to change the Japanese legal system. Perhaps he thought that he could do that with you. Yes, maybe. But something's still bothering me a little. The look in his eyes then. It was darker than I've ever seen it before. Susato-san, I'm sorry that we kept it a secret from you. My stowing away on the ship, I mean. If I know Kazuma-sama, I expect he was trying to protect me, to avoid me by becoming guilty by association. That's exactly right, yes. A word perfect, in fact. If you're not the culprit, then tell me. What happened last night here in this cabin? Well, the thing is, I don't really remember. Kazuma brought me something to eat, just like he always did. And then I got myself into that wardrobe over there, just like I always did. After that, I fell asleep. Well, yes. So deeply that you didn't even stir when Kazuma-sama was killed? Well, yes. I know it sounds unbelievable, really, I do, but it's the truth. If only I'd woken up, then perhaps I wouldn't be in this predicament. And for some reason, my head's still throbbing like anything. Really? Is something wrong? Oh, no, it's... Please, forget it. Susato-san, you have to believe me, I didn't do it. I really don't want to doubt you. But the trouble is, there's no one else who could possibly have done this. Kazuma, I don't understand. Why? Why did this have to happen? I can't take this. Don't try to go anywhere. You're the perpetrator of this crime. You can't leave. I can't allow that to happen. I'm sorry. But Cosmo was killed right under my nose here, and I didn't do anything to stop it. And now I'm supposed to just sit around, my hands tied, while whoever did this walks free? No, I can't allow that to happen. Well, what do you propose to do then? I'm going to investigate. I'm going to find out exactly what happened here. I'm going to work out who took Cosmo's life, and how and why they did it. So I'm sorry, but you're going to have to excuse me. Hi-ya! What the? That was a Susato takedown. Susato what? What martial art form is that? I'm going to need you to prove it. Sorry? Prove it? Yes, your innocence. I need evidence. But how am I supposed to... Have you forgotten already what you achieved just a few weeks ago? You successfully defend yourself in a court of law. I see. She's expecting me to present some conclusive evidence. I have to get Susato-san to believe me. I'll show her some evidence right now that proves I'm not guilty of this awful crime. I only have 2 things. I guess I have to present this one. Cause like, what else? Tell me, when I was discovered in the wardrobe before, was this piece of paper stuck over the doors? Oh, yes, it was. I remember clearly. I thought so. Cosmo always put it in place whenever I went to sleep in there. Just in case the cabin steward and another crew member decided to look inside. So naturally, he did the same last night as well. Ah! Yes, of course. The gentleman who discovered you peeled that sign from the wardrobe doors before he opened them. But if I were truly the culprit, I couldn't have climbed back inside the wardrobe and stuck this on the outside of the doors on my own. Yes, that's quite true. In other words, I'm innocent! It's impossible that I killed Kazuma! Well, even if you are sprawled hopelessly on the floor, I can see why Kazuma-sama thought so highly of you. Thank you, Susato-san. Now, do you think perhaps you could help me up? Well, in the light of that evidence, I don't see any reason why I should stop you from investigating here at least. Thank you. So you finally believe me? I'm sorry, no. What? I'm not sure yet. I can't rule out the possibility that you used some sort of conjuring trick to put the sign back in position. What does she think I am, a magician? For now, I suggest you investigate as thoroughly as possible in here. I'll do the same. Alright, let's get to work, Susato-san. Please don't misunderstand me. I still have my doubts. Oh! I shall be watching you to make sure you do nothing that might disturb the crime scene. I wouldn't want you using your conjuring tricks to destroy evidence, for example. Right. Well, anyway, I should make a start on investigating here. Examine everything I can. Kazuma, I swear, I will avenge your death. Is there any... No, we finished conversing. Back. I can't move, right? Yeah, I thought so. Here, I just get to examine, I guess. Ooh, I can move the screen. This is... Yes, it's a bell cord contraption, I think. What do you mean, contraption? I read about it in a book I was studying talked about life in Great Britain. Large households often have bell cords like this, which you can pull to ring a bell to summon servants. Really, that sounds almost magical. Shall we give it a little try? Yes! In the interest of cultural research, obviously. I suppose nobody comes for lowly Japanese people. Ah! No, I'm sure it's just that everyone's busy, that's all. Oh dear, that won't do. Oh, what's the matter, Susato-san? Whenever I'm examining things, I always find myself so focused I forget to look around properly. Ah yes, that's not good. I don't suppose you're as foolish as me in that regard, are you, Naruhodo-san? I know how to look around. I already used that. Okay. No, I looked around already. Oops, that was an accident. London Diary. Poor Kazuma, he didn't even make it to his destination. It looks as though the last entry is incomplete. Which means what? He was in the middle of writing it when the incident happened? Let's see what it says. It could be a valuable clue. Hiya! I'm not allowed to read his diary? That's out of the question. What? Kazuma-sama may have departed from this world, but you must not read his private thoughts. But what if it's something important? Something relevant to a case? Alright, I won't read it. Poor Kazuma-sama. I'm not allowed to look at his diary. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. Have you really been living in that wardrobe the entire time, Nanahodo-san? I think living isn't quite the right description. Oh, no, I suppose not. Although it must have been rather exciting making this voyage in your own secret hideout. The trouble was, I never knew when a member of the crew might come in. So yes, I did basically have to live in the wardrobe. And last night was no exception. But because of that, you had no idea what was happening out here in the cabin. No, sadly not. Honestly, it must have been so uncomfortable sleeping in there. Ah, no, I didn't mean to do that! Shoot. I think that's some kind of opening for a ventilator. A hole through which fresh air can circulate into the cabin. Isn't that a little odd? What do you mean? Well, this ventilator, if that's what it is, looks like it must connect to a next-door cabin. Yes, it would appear to. You're right. But if its purpose is to allow fresh air into the room, then surely it must be connected to the outside. That's true. Perhaps it's so that rain and spray don't find their way in when the seas are rough, or something like that? I suppose. Maybe that's it. I didn't mean to do that. Here, I can look at that. Did Kazuma write that before he died? It looks like it's written in ink. He must have knocked the ink pot from the desk when he collapsed on the floor. And I suppose he wrote this message by dipping his finger in the spillage. Poor Kazuma-sama, no doubt he was in terrible pain. It's almost unbearable to imagine it. I suppose he was trying to leave some kind of a clue in his final moments, was he? I'm so sorry, partner, but I can't read your writing. I don't think that's Japanese, Nanahodo-san. What? Then what language is it? It's Russian. It pains me to admit, but I don't know. It's not a foreign script I'm familiar with. What does it mean, I wonder? It's Russian, but I don't know Russian, so... Oh, hi. Who's that? He wasn't there a minute ago. As far as I can tell, it looks like he might be European. Oh, how did he... You've noticed the man too, have you? I have no idea who he is or how he got in here, but he looks suspicious. And tall. Suspiciously tall! Nanahodo-san, don't tell me... Do you really not know who that is? Well, no. I don't have any foreign friends or acquaintances at all. He doesn't look like a member of the crew. There's something very unusual about him. And is he investigating Kazuma's desk, or is he just playing on it? I can't tell. Well, in that case, we simply must talk with him. Am I just imagining it, or does Susato-san look almost uncontrollably excited? By the way, I expect that you've noticed already, but just in case, if you press space... Yeah. Oh, please do. Okay, let's talk to him. Excuse me. Excuse me, do you have a moment? Shh, this is a critical point in my investigation. What are you doing? Maybe I should leave him alone. He seems a little unfriendly. Yes, perhaps that would be for the best. Greetings, I hope I haven't kept you long. Ah! What exactly were you doing on Cosmo's desk just now? I see. Fascinating. Sorry? What do you see? It feels like he's looking right through me. Oh yes, everything is clear now. The train of reasoning has run its course. My deductions have crystallized. You have been in Afghanistan, I perceive. Just recently returned, if I'm not mistaken. Nope. Sorry? What? And now, while venturing towards foreign climes, you find yourself in the most troubling predicament. Oh, well, that's true at least. But how? How the deuce did I know that? Perhaps. It was really a most elementary deduction, hardly worth explaining. Have you perhaps managed to deduce anything else? But of course, a great many things. There is no mystery, my dear madame. For example, you have fled your native land of Russia, being, as you are, a merciless revolutionary. You leave 16 victims of assassination in your wake, and now travel to England to blow up the Crystal Tower. And, when the beribboned occupant of this very cabin discovered your identity, you ended his life too. Yes, I believe that summarizes the facts beautifully. No need to hide the truth now, nothing deceives these eyes. Just to be clear, you're talking about me, are you? Certainly I am. Do you see another in this cabin who fits the bill? A Russian assassin with 16 victims to his name? I don't even see one person who fits the bill. So it's true. It was you who did this to Kazuma-sama. What? And you're plotting a revolution too! It's shameful behavior, Nadamoto-san. Absolutely wicked. No, listen, there's no way Hiya! Now explain yourself, tell me everything! This is ridiculous. How could you do it? For pity's sake, open your eyes. I'm not a Russian revolutionary, obviously. Oh, forgive me. And as for you, what kind of deduction was that? You were just saying the first thing that came to your head. Ah, but was I not right? Whilst venturing towards foreign climes, you do find yourself in the most troubling predicament. Do you not? Okay, yeah, obviously. I know, like, the Afghanistan was a Sherlock Holmes reference. But I don't know if the rest of it was, too. I'm guessing it was. I don't know enough Sherlock Holmes for that. Well, yes, maybe. Ha! There you have it, you see? What do you make of that, Well, to be honest, this ship is en route to England, and I'm in handcuffs at the scene of a murder. So, I'm not really sure you could call it deduction. It's more plain observation. Indeed, an observation, my dear boy, is the basis of all deduction. My method is founding upon the observation of trifles, you see. I announce my findings with a brassy certitude. And more often than not, I'm right! I don't think you introduced yourself. Ah, my apologies. How remiss of me. I am none other than the greatest detective of the century, known to men and women the world over. The inimitable Sherlock Holmes. So, it's really you? The actual Sherlock Holmes? The very same. The inimitable actual Sherlock Holmes. Oh my gosh. This is messing me up. Do you know this man, Sasata-san? The most famous detective in the world? Naruhodo-san, of course I do. There's nobody who hasn't heard of him. What planet have I been living on then? We must ask him what he's seduced. He will have worked out the entire case already, I'm sure. Really? Why do I feel uneasy about this? We can converse with him. So, you're a great detective, are you? Sorry, what was your name again? Indeed, I am none other than the one and only Herlock Sholmes. Oh, I see. You're German? Herlock, was it? Ah! No, I have no hair. I mean, I have hair. Please, call me Sherlock. I mean, Sholmes. Ah! You can read all about my exploits in this exciting London publication. Oh yes, Rance magazine, full of wonderful short stories and interesting articles from Britain. I never miss an issue. I have it sent from England especially. Ah yes, here it is. The Adventures of Herlock Sholmes. So, you're the protagonist in a series of short stories then? Indeed I am. And you've read so many of your own stories, you started to think you really are a detective? Make no mistake, I'm not the poor deluded fellow you take me for. Your inference is backward. Backward? My trusty biographer records my greatest detective achievements and chronicles them in the magazine. You have a biographer, do you? Doesn't everyone? Mine goes by the name of Dr. Wilson, presently keeping shop in London. Dr. Wilson? That's Dr. Watson. I must say, thanks to that publication, I've been fantastically busy of late. Why, this very moment I am returning from Asia, having solved the mystery of a cursed royal crown. Really? I can't work out whether I should take this man seriously or not. Deduction, you see, is to me a science, logical reasoning in its purest form. A science? Really? The astute observer notices even the most subtle of reactions in a subject. A furtive glance, a twitch of a muscle, a slight inclination of the posture, fingernails, arm sleeves, furs on the skin, all these things are data. Right. And the trained logician makes deductions from this data in the blink of an eye. The ultimate conclusion is, without fail, the truth. As I demonstrated only a short moments ago, how can you look me in the eye and claim that? See, I have a turn both for observation and for deduction. And fame! That is what makes me the one and only Herlock Sholmes. Hair. Have you managed to deduce anything about this particular case yet? Have I managed to deduce anything? My dear fellow! Who do you suppose discovered the culprit in his most cunning hiding place? That's right. It was none other than the great detective before you now, Mr. Herlock Sholmes. Ah, I see. In other words, I'm in these now because of him. When I became anxious about Pazmasama this morning, I summoned all the crew members to force the cabin door open. And I concealed myself among their number, gaining entry to the scene of the crime. Yes! Luckily for everyone, the great detective Herlock Sholmes is on board. And the handcuffs seem to be an excellent fit, Mr. Naruto. Ah, thank you, they suit me so well, don't they? The very moment I laid eyes on the scene, two facts were immediately apparent to me. Oh really, two facts, you say? Mr. Sholmes, tell us, please. What two facts were apparent to you when you came into this cabin this morning? Ah, yes, but first, let us be precise. The two facts in question were immediately apparent to me. Yes, I understand. But what were they? Allow me to elucidate. The two facts I deduced from a mere momentary glance at the scene of the crime were as follows. Number 1. The cabin was locked from within, rendering escape of the culprit out of the question. Number 2. The victim was Russian and killed following a dispute with an acquaintance. Hold on, Mr. Sholmes, what made you think the victim was Russian? Observe the dying message left by the victim on the floor. I was trying to see if it was just normal writing upside down, but I don't think it is. That is the Russian word for wardrobe. Oh. Do you really think Kazuma-sama could have left a dying message in Russian? In their final moments, many find their native tongue filling their head. For this young man, Russian. Kazuma was Russian. Was he? Initially, I considered Garderobe maybe the name of a killer. A certain Robert Gard, perhaps. But in the interest of thoroughness, I decided it would be wrong not to look inside the wardrobe there at least. Where you found Mr. Naruhodo sleeping soundly. Quite so, I found you, the renowned Russian revolutionary killer. Why is it that I'm Russian too? I observed that you were wearing the same attire as the victim. In other words, you were acquainted. And if my memory serves, that outfit is the traditional dress of the Russian people. Our school uniforms are the traditional dress of the Russian people? I had no idea. And I had no idea a detective could get something so wrong. I took a photograph of the victim and the message that I might analyze it for possible hidden details. This was taken immediately after the young man was discovered, before the body was removed. Yes, Kazuma had already been taken away when I woke up. This is the first time I've actually seen him like this. Kazuma! Why do you have to die? Are you alright, Mr. Naruhodo? Oh, yes, thank you. Can I ask you something, Mr. Sholmes? What, pray? You mentioned Russia before as well, didn't you? You know, when you said I was a fearsome revolutionary fleeing from Russia and all that? Maybe he just really likes Russia. Ah, yes, the train of reasoning led me to the truth. Would you mind explaining that train of reasoning to me, do you think? Certainly, if it interests you. How many times I'm not Russian and I don't speak Russian? Can we talk about your deduction before? The things you conclude about me, I mean? Ah, the now famously accurate troubling predicament you find yourself in? Actually, it was the other details that I was more hoping to discuss. You know, the merciless Russian revolutionary and assassin of 16 part? Ah yes, the more sordid details. It was a fairly commonplace deduction. Here we have this morning's paper. The main headline reads, "A revolutionary villain Bolshevik flees Russia via Shanghai." This vessel made a port call at Shanghai yesterday, and last night the young Russian was murdered. Since when was Kazuma Russian? It sounds like Mr. Sholmes has concluded he was Russian because of what Mr. Kazuma wrote on the floor. It was a simple act of reasoning to realize that the culprit of this crime was the same merciless revolutionary. One who would kill the very man who helped him to escape after his true identity was discovered. Yes, you. A villain Bolshevik. No, how could it be me? I don't look anything like this man, just look at his face. Well, you are a fearsome revolutionary after all. Bruh. Therefore, you have no doubt learned to revolutionize your appearance as well. Ugh, please! And I might add, your name does not appear on the ship's passenger list. Need I say more? Well, that's because I'm a stowaway. What about the other details? The 16 victims of assassination and blowing up the Crystal Tower. Ah yes, the journalist clearly interviewed the man and printed all those particulars in the article. What? He interviewed him? The deeds the man has perpetrated thus far and those he has plotted. Yes, everything about this revolutionary Bolshevik was included. There can be no mistake. Do revolutionaries usually agree to interviews with newspaper reporters, I wonder? And what about the part where you said I was just returning from Afghanistan? Also quite clearly stated here in the article. Bro! You're not deducting anything, you're just feeding you off with something. Bolshevik is recently returned after a period of subversive activities in a war-torn region of Afghanistan. Where even is it anyway? This Afghanistan place. Here, take the paper for yourself, as a little memento of this great deduction. Oh, thank you. I've absorbed all that is of interest to me within its pages, but I see no rubbish bin nearby. Thanks. And you may find the article on the back page of interest as well. On the back, cast your eye over it sometime if interest takes you, though you may need someone to interpret. It's all written in Russian. I couldn't hope to read it. Wait, he told me I need someone to interpret. You don't think I'm actually Russian, you stupid! But I suppose it wouldn't hurt to just glance at the article. There might be a picture or two. Before you started talking, you were examining Cosmo's desk, weren't you? Cosmo? Ah, yes, the victim. Did you notice anything useful? Anything at all? Observe for a moment the desktop of the victim. We see that the victim was engaged in penning some text. London Diary. Cosmo is keeping notes of the trip. Ah, but I don't think you should read his private writings. It could upset people. Tragic! And something you ought to perhaps elucidate before the act of reading. Oh my gosh, get out of here. You mean you've read it already? It is my business to know what other people do not. Yes, believe it or not, I know a smattering of Japanese. Oh, I see. Well, you're about to know what a Susato takedown is. Nah, she likes this guy. She likes him more than me. Susato-san, aren't you gonna throw the detective with one of your trademark take sounds? I'm sorry, Naruhodo-san. What on earth do you mean? Life is so unfair. Anyway, to return to the matter at hand, namely this diary belonging to the victim. It would appear the final sentence is incomplete, as if the author were cut short. Tell me, what is the nature of the writing? Pray be precise as to the details. Oh, but I thought you knew Japanese. A smattering, dear boy, a smattering! Sayonara, bonsai, mikado, nado. I trust you're suitably impressed. But this diary is littered with complicated-looking characters of which I can read precisely none. So what was all that showing off about before then? If you would be so kind as to show me, I would be happy to read it to you, Mr. Sholmes. I'm much obliged, my dear madame. The final entry here in Kazuma-sama's diary consists of just two short sentences. The first reads, 1:23 a.m. I can hear a faint whistling sound. A whistling sound? These are very deep waters. Pray, go on. The second sentence reads, 1:35 a.m. What looks like some sort of speckled band is hanging from the ventilator grill. A speckled band? What on earth does that mean? I have no idea. I have never heard that expression before. The ventilator grill, you say? The man was presumably referring to the lattice there on the wall, which connects to the adjoining cabin. Yes, the adjoining cabin. I'm killing my voice right now, just to let you know. I'm dying a little already. So, I believe I've given you enough to consider for the time being at least. Do you have somewhere to go? As it happens, the victim's writing in his diary have piqued my interest. The matter warrants further investigation, I believe, and if I'm still too long, the seasickness takes hold. Oh, I suppose you're thinking of investigating the cabin next door, which the ventilator connects to. Great detectives are a curious breed. Our minds rebel at stagnation. We crave mental exaltation. So yes, I intend to investigate. Hence, the truth will become clear soon enough. Do you think perhaps that we could go with you? No, that would be somewhat complicated. What? But why? A simple glance at your wrist should reveal the answer. Oh, please. After all, you're the prime suspect in this matter. No? There's no point trying to turn into a question. You're the one who decided I was a culprit in the first place. Whatever do you mean? I have no recollection of naming you as the culprit at any point. What do you mean? How not? You must be joking. You just said it only a moment ago. Dear me, you are clearly misguided. I would have no cause to say such a thing. Well, actually, Mr. Sholmes, I did hear you say that too. You're quite sure? Well, that's very strange. I wouldn't have said you had the face of a criminal, you know? Not really. So what, were you looking at my knees before? Some great detective you are. Well, anyway, that was then and this is now. Bruh. What do you mean? What I mean, sir, is this. If you're the culprit, then you must play the part more convincingly. Roll over and accept your fate. Ah ha 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 ha! Now he's just being plain rude. And off he goes, having just laughed in my face. His sense of humor is as twisted as his name. Naruhodo-san, what are you just standing there for? We must go and investigate the cabin next door as well. Aren't you forgetting something? What about these? There's no way I can— Hiya! What? What? What did I do this time? After Kazuma-sama spent his dying moments struggling to give us a clue, you're willing to give up? You're just going to roll over and accept your fate? As if you gave me a choice in the rolling over part. I think we still have some investigation to finish off in here first, don't we? Let's carry on examining what we can do in this cabin while we wait for a chance to slip next door. Good idea! The situation doesn't look good for me, but there are still things I can do to help myself. And I owe it to Kazuma to do everything I can to find a way out of this, and bring the real culprit to justice. Wait, so what was I gonna do? Examine more stuff? Memories? What do you mean? Well, that's actually how I was stowed away on this vessel. I was brought on board inside that case. Ah, yes, I see it says "this way up" in Japanese. Which in hindsight, I should have realized the foreign crewmen wouldn't be able to eat. Read! Gah! I was turned over and over and over, and then I was tossed on the floor near. Oh dear, being a stowaway isn't as romantic as it sounds. Well, it was less painful than a Susato takedown. What's that? What's on the floor there? What do you think this is? It looks like a broken piece of glassware. Whatever the thing was, it appears to have broken clean in two. The glass is such a beautiful color. It looks like a cute little Netsuke fastener from a kimono outfit. I'm not sure that sounds like Kazuma. He wouldn't have secretly carried a cute little trinket like this around with him, would he? And the mark beside it, what is it, I wonder? It has sort of a brick-like hue. Yes, you're right. It is the color of brick, isn't it? Okay, I'm gonna take a second to put in some laundry and take a drink really quick. Woo! So fancy. Not really. This is default. I'm not actually gonna do that. It's too dumb. I'm gonna go. Okay. Be back soon. every time I play this game, man. That's Kazuma-sama's precious sword. He never went anywhere without it. Yes, he was always saying that a Japanese man's katana is his soul. I believe he had to work very hard to convince the government to allow him to bring it on this trip. I suppose that shows just how important it was to him. And now he's gone. Sasegi, justice. The brushstrokes are straight and true, just like Kazuma. Yes, his calligraphy always was a reflection of his heart. Yet can you really look at those characters without feeling shame knowing who drew them so thoughtfully? Of course I can! I mean, I'm innocent, so why shouldn't I be able to? Even though you stowed away on this ship? Now you're going to bring that up, are you? I can't win. Those are the rules of passage for travel aboard the SS Beria. It's essentially a list of requests from the captain to all passengers on board. Passengers must not keep weapons or other dangerous objects in their cabins. Pets are also strictly forbidden. Well, we have a katana that, we broke the rules already. What? Why are you staring at me? Oh, sorry, I was just thinking. Are you more of a dangerous object or a pet? Nice one! I was thinking it's like Kazuma had a pet he brought along. But he also brought a dangerous object. I can't decide. Well, one thing's for sure. Either way, I wasn't supposed to be in here. The books have fallen over on the shelf. Look, they've all toppled the same way. And what's this? A statue of some god of the sea? Although he's fallen over as well. Yes, it's almost as if the whole shelf has been ransacked and everything mown down at once. I wonder if perhaps it was Kazuma-sama's doing his morning sword training, do you think? I seriously doubt it. Then perhaps it was you, Naruhodo-san? In a fit of rage. I wouldn't have bothered leaving the wardrobe just to mess up a few books and a statue. Could the way these things have been thrown about have anything to do with the case, I wonder? Well, I'll just set everything straight again. I don't like to see a mess. Oh, I forgot about that. When I went for help and the crewman forced the door open, this bolt had been firmly closed. It's quite a small bolt and not particularly sturdy, and it just slides across to secure the door shut. But still, with the door bolted, there would be no way to get in or out of the cabin. That's for sure. It's no wonder everyone suspects me. When she glares at me like that, I feel tense all up and down my spine. I remember reading once in a detective novel. The culprit used a needle and thread to draw a bolt across from outside the room in a situation like this. Yes, that's a clever trick, isn't it? I'm an avid reader of detective stories myself. But the door of this cabinet's frame are made of metal, and they seal together perfectly. There would be no possibility of using that needle and thread trick here, I'm afraid. No, darn it! When she glares at me like that, I feel pins and needles all up and down my spine. There's nothing on this table at all. The plate and cutlery all over the floor for some reason. Yes, it's strange. Last night when I went to sleep, I'm sure everything was still. No, wait a minute. What is it? That's funny. I can't seem to remember anything about what happened after dinner at all. Suspicious! So then perhaps you are responsible for what happened to Kazuma-sama. No, no, no! There's the food. What is that thing? A roast chicken? Yes, it was very delicious, wasn't it? But, did you eat it on the floor here? I'm not a dog, Susato-san. I ate at the table, of course. But Kazuma-sama didn't like chicken at all, did he? No, that's right. So he didn't touch it. Which meant all the more for me! Oh no! Does that mean poor Kazuma-sama spent his last night on this earth with an empty belly? It's just too horrible. Now I suddenly have a guilty conscience and an achy stomach. Oh, look over there! The crewman, do you mean he wasn't there before, was he? That's what I thought. Why don't we try talking to him? Probably because I'm likely to get yelled at again. But I suppose I could try. Is something wrong, Naruhodo-san? Oh, no, it's just that crewman standing by the door. I can't help but feel like I've seen him somewhere before. Is he the murderer? Oh yes, you're right. He does look familiar. Excuse me, sir. Yes? What can I do for you? Oh my gosh, it's him! I recognize that face, but it can't be! It is! I didn't know you were here, Inspector Hasanaga. Oh man, that's grosser because he's wiping on his sleeve. Before he was at least wiping it on like a napkin. Hello again. What are you doing here? I think that should be my line. I was so stunned when I saw you, my heart stopped. Nearly stopped, I hope. I received some special orders to go undercover as a member of the crew and board the ship. Again? You certainly seem to enjoy undercover work, Inspector. If there's anything I can do to help you, please ask. I never expected to see this man on board. But perhaps his presence can help me out of this hopeless situation. So what are your special orders this time, Inspector? Yes, and why are you dressed up as a member of the crew? They're classified. I'm so sorry. This is all my fault. I take full responsibility. For what? My orders were to act as Asogi-san's bodyguard. It was the Minister of Justice Jigoku who pushed for this overseas study tour to go ahead. And he entrusted me with ensuring that Asogi-san reached Great Britain without being assassinated. Assassinated? How could that have even been a possibility? I'm not sure. But these are complicated times. There are tensions between the world's greatest powers. Minister Jigoku said we should be prepared for all eventualities. This is incredible. I don't believe it! Kazuma-sama was assassinated? Obviously, we couldn't give Asogi-san a visible security escort. Which is why I'm undercover now, posing as one of the crew. I see. And I didn't take my eyes off him the entire time we've been on board. From morning until night. Every day. Stalker! I never imagined it would happen here inside his own cabin, not here on the first-class deck. I've failed miserably at my assignment, and Asogi-san is dead as a result. I'm a disgrace! All I can do is humbly apologize. Inspector. So if there's anything at all I can do to help now, just say the word. We're doing what we can to investigate Kazuma's death ourselves. I thought you might be. You didn't do it, did you? You're not the killer? Of course not! We'd really like to investigate the cabin next door. Yes, so we need to be allowed out of this cabin. I'm sorry. What? You've been deemed arrested as ship's safety. If you move to even touch the handle of the cabin door, that stormy-looking seaman there would surely snap your neck in two. Whoa! I suppose I'm not just a stowaway now, they think I'm a murderer as well. Would it be possible to give me something to work with, do you think? I'm going to need something persuasive. What do you mean? If I had a solid reason why the next door cabin should be investigated, for example, I'd do everything I could to persuade the captain to allow it. Really, I'd lay my life on the line if I had to. Dang! You're so dedicated! But I don't see how... There may be a way. What? Really? Think of how you tried to persuade me of your innocence, Naruhodo-san. By presenting me with a piece of evidence that you already had in your possession? Evidence? It's just the same as when you're in court. You must have done it many times during your trial. Simply select the present panel and choose some evidence that Inspector Hosonaga could use. So, evidence that would give us a viable reason to investigate the next door cabin, is it? Alright, yes. I think I might know what we can use. Okay. Z. I think it's just this. Yeah. What's that? It's Kazuma's diary. Just before he died, Kazuma-sama wrote something rather strange in his diary. Strange? In what way? He wrote, what looks like some kind of speckled band is dangling from the ventilated grill. A speckled band? That is strange. Yes, we're still trying to work out what he meant by that. But what I'd like to know is... Don't tell me. The ventilator, is it? You're very astute, Inspector. That ventilator clearly joins next door cabin. That's right. So if we could investigate in there, we might be able to work out what the speckled band was. Alright then. I can't leave this cabin at the moment. I'm stuck here until we arrive at the next port. The captain has given me strict orders to guard the scene of the crime, you see. I'll have to trust the investigation to you. Really? You're willing to do that? Yes, as long as you don't leave the first-class cabin area. I'm afraid I can't remove those handcuffs, though. But what about the captain? Aren't you going against his direct orders? I'm a man of my word. And I promise you that I'll lay my life on the line if that's what it takes to convince the captain. After all, I failed to keep Asogi-san safe. This is the least I can do. Thank you. Let's seize the moment then, Naruhodo-san. Just select move and we can leave this cabin at last. Yay! Let's leave! See. We're in the hallway! Something must happen here. Phew, I'm finally out of the cabin! I have to admit, this isn't quite what I was expecting. It's less spacious out here than I thought it would be, and this is the most luxurious accommodation. Yes, indeed. Kazuma-sama was being sent on a study tour by the government. That's why he was being put up in a first-class cabin. Even still, this is about twice as large as my accommodation in steerage. Really? That must be awful. Honestly, it's probably not too bad. Oh, look over there! That's another crewman keeping watch, and he looks enormous, even if he is sitting down. The door next to him leads to a second-class accommodation. I suppose he's making sure no one comes in here who shouldn't. I suppose. Like people in handcuffs? Naruhodo-san, you look like a little boy visiting a toy shop for the first time. I would have thought you'd be used to a ship by now. You've been at sea for 2 weeks already. Well, yes, I know, but the thing is, I was inside Kazuma's trunk when I first came on aboard, and ever since then I've been shut up inside that little wardrobe. It must have been a very trying time for you. Please, don't give me that pitying look. Should I examine anything? This looks like a plan of the SS Peria. The Toyo is a large-scale steamship with a triple-skinned hull. What a marvel of engineering! Well, it's been playing on my mind for a while now, actually, but how is it that such a huge lump of metal doesn't just sink to above the ocean? Oh, that's really quite simple, Naruto-san. It is? Well, considering Japanese archipelago, the islands of Japan? Yes, they're not metal, but they are enormous lumps of earth, many, many times larger than this ship. They don't sink, do they? They've been floating happily on the sea since the gods created them. There's also earthquakes, like, all the time, though, and tsunamis, like... they don't really meet high standards. Well, I suppose so. Okay. Anything else? That's a huge book on the table. I thought the compliment was the good handwriting. My throat. What if the guard did it? Duh. Dang. Shoot me dead. Nothing. Oh wait, shoot! This is it? Okay. Ah! Why can't they go in? Why? That one didn't work. The sign we put on the cabin doors, it wasn't obeyed. What's this? A trap for catching mice in the middle of the hallway? Actually, is this at the end of the hallway? It might be. Chalk. Cheese. Oh. Did they not have cheese in Japan? I guess that makes sense. Imagine life without cheese. So sad. Poor you. She pities me. Darn it. No, don't do it. Yeah, Naruto-san. Yeah. Is this our door? Yep. I'm sorry, I was sleeping in it though. Wow. Yeah. I feel like that's it. I don't think I... Can I talk to him? Okay, but can I still ask you questions? Aw, she's so polite. Bruh! What's her name then? Biff. Yeah, it's beef stroganoff. Oh my gosh. Why? Why'd they do that? Oh my gosh. I pity this man. Imagine having a name like that. Government officials, kings and queens traveling in secret, many important persons. That is why I'm always guarding this place. Gosh, that's amazing. But somehow I let stupid stowaway inside. I want to pick you up and throw you in ocean, but Stroganoff is not animal. Thank you. If I may, I was wondering, is the cabin next to Mr. Asogi's currently occupied? Susato-san, did you understand that? It sounded like da. I think it's probably Russian for yes. Or no. Genius. It is not permitted to visit other cabins without invitation. Well, it sounds like there is somebody in the next door cabin at least. Yes, it's tantalizing. Could you tell us who's traveling in the cabin next to Mr. Asogi's? His name is Mr. Grimesby Roylott. He is a very important Western gentleman. A Western gentleman? Do not think about it. He has nothing to do with murder of student boy. How can you be so sure about that? Mr. Roylott is an authentic Western gentleman. Such a man would have no interest in a lowly student from insignificant Far East Islands. That was harsh. Could you tell us when Mr. Roylott came aboard? That is not your business. Come to think of it, even though we've been at sea for 2 weeks now, and I've been in Kazuma's cabin the entire time, I have never once heard anything from the next door cabin, or even felt like there's anyone there. Well, presumably, since this gentleman is occupying one of the first class cabins, he must be someone important. Is that right? That is not your business. Are you on watch here all the time, Seaman Stroganoff? Duh, all the time, so criminals like you cannot come in, or get out. I wonder, could you tell us anything about last night at all? It is sad about student boy. Were you on watch last night as well? Of course. And did you notice anything at the time? Anything unusual? Niet! That means no. Susato-san, did you understand that? It was clearly a no! I saw nothing unusual, nothing at all. And you didn't hear any strange noises or sense anything was wrong in some way? I said no! Sorry! I'm not so sure. I could have sworn that you wouldn't catch my eye for a moment there. This is enough. I cannot say more now. Oh, It is time for me to report to Captain. You must return to Captain. Yes, alright. Bulkhead to second-class area staying locked at all times. You escape when the lobster whistles on top of the mountain, or as English say, when the pigs fly. Yes, I understand. Good, now we can investigate this area properly, shall we? Definitely. What have we not investigated? I think we've investigated everything. Last night's log is mostly blank. Okay, I'm not discovering anything new here. I just thought, like, it didn't... Whatever. It didn't have the check mark anymore. I'm guessing we just go in the room. I think that's the only thing. No answer. We're out of luck, it seems. There's no one in there to help with our inquiries. How annoying. Ah! What the heck? Bruh. I'm gonna run in, they're gonna say, you killed this person too! What the heck? Why is he angry? Why is he bloodthirsty? Stress relief? Who are you? A Western gentleman? This man looks Russian to me. He must be the assassin! Why'd we hear a woman scream? What the heck? Get out, all of you, now! Okay, we don't care about you. Okay, stop advertising yourself. Yeah, he does. Oh my gosh. A detective? I do not trust detectives. We distinctly heard a scream emanating from within these walls. But there wouldn't appear to be a lady concealing herself within the wardrobe this time. So I may be bold as you open that small... What? There isn't gonna be a woman inside there. Don't look at me. What? What's in there? Okay, but what's in that case? Why are you over there? You weirdo. He's hiding something! Help us! Help us, good sir, please. Okay. Dude, you could just helped us on your own. You didn't need to wait for us. We're obviously having trouble, man. For once. You finally know what you're doing, man. Vodka! Dude, I don't need to witness his mental breakdown. Is the fellow dubious on account of his Russianness, or Russian on account of his dubiousness? I really don't think either of those things should be occurring to you, or anyone. That's right, and Mr. Sholmes. I know this man's beard and dark glasses are hard to ignore, especially on first meeting, but I once read it is a capital mistake to theorize before you have all the evidence. It biases the judgment. Oh my gosh, he's quoting Sherlock. I must have complete silence. But what are you doing? Why are you peering at my face like that? Ah, just as I thought. Yes, I have quite made up my mind now. There can be no other explanation that accommodates all the facts. Mr. Roylott, I have reached two incontrovertible conclusions. What do you mean? Number one, your true identity is that of a villain. Using those shears, you're about to end the existence of something most dear. Are you not? Huh? Why were you carrying he hides them? And number two, the other conclusion I have drawn. You are, at this very moment no less, in the midst of committing a most grievous crime. Beneath that beard, your mouth quivers with nervous tension as you realize you have been discovered. Does it not? Ah! Nothing can deceive Mr. Sholmes. In a single glance, he can deduce all there is to know about a person. What? What ineffable twaddle. Oh yes, I've read about countless times in the adventures of Sherlock Sholmes, and now I've experienced the astonishing impact of its great deduction firsthand. This is like a dream come true! I can hardly believe it, but all the color is drained from Mr. Roylott's face. It looks like somehow both of Mr. Sholmes' conclusions were right. How? How could you? How could I possibly know such things? You wish to say? Very well then. I shall elucidate. I shall explain how it was that I arrived at this pair of conclusions. As I do cordially invite you upon a journey of logical discovery, let us board the train of reasoning. That sounds like a kids show thing to say. But plainly, let us work through my deductions together. Whoa! The game is afoot. So the dubious-looking Russian, Mr. Roylott, obviously what catches that in the first place. is the enormous pair of shears in your hand. Now we ask ourselves, what could you possibly want with such an implement? The answer, of course, is staring us in the face. You were on the verge of using the shears to cut away the copious beard you sport. What the heck? Now, moving on. The question then begged is this: why would you desire to rid yourself of this magnificent beard, Mr. Roylott? Once again, the answer is plain. We have clear evidence to shed light on the matter. Regard, if you will, this morning's newspaper, in particular the fascinating front page article, which it would appear you have read also, Mr. Roylott. I'm sure it needs no further clarification. The evidence that reveals your true identity is the article about the revolutionary. And the translation headline revolutionary villain Bolshevik flees Russia via Shanghai. As you cannot fail to observe, the subject of the article possesses an extremely copious beard. Having known the article yourself, you decide to remove your incriminating facial hair before it gave you away. In short, your true identity is beyond doubt. You are the fearsome Russian revolutionary himself, Villain Bolshevik. Are you gonna accuse, like, everyone we meet of being Villain Bolshevik? Not that I've heard of you myself, you understand. Now, as for my second conclusion, you are, at this very moment, on the brink of committing a most grievous crime. And the proof of this crime, over there. Oh yes, Mr. Roylott. Taken unawares, people have a propensity to let their eyes stray, you see. Ah! And I assure you that eyes speak so much more eloquently and honestly than the mouth. The answer we seek lies where the furtive glance falls. The proof of your crime sits before our very eyes. Yes, that traveling case. It is time, I think, that the case be opened and its contents laid bare. No, I refuse! What could you possibly be concealing inside, we ask? By my estimation, a young lady, perhaps. Literally how? No human being could fit in that. Dear me, we are not well suited to a life of crime, are we? Your careless coup d'oeil betrays you. Once again, we need only follow your furtive glance to find the answer. Yes, the reason you refuse to open your traveling case can equally be found in the pages of this newspaper. For there is another most stimulating article. If we turn from the fleeing revolutionary to the back page... What? Abduction? And according to the article, the young lady's name is Nikolina Pavlova. Okay, it sounds like a good deduction, but like how would anyone fit in there? Suseto sound, that wasn't one of the great deductions I've been hearing so much about, was it? Well, the stories are full of Mr. Shelm's brilliant deductions, you know. But that did seem a little different somehow. Excuse me, Mr. Shelms, could you come over here for a moment? Pray, what can I do for you? It's about your deductions, would you mind? Not at all, go on. Well, to start with, there's a newspaper article. I think we had the same discussion before, but these two men look nothing like each other. Ah, yes, I recall our discussion earlier, and at the time I believe I told you? That man is a revolutionary, well able to revolutionize his own appearance. In fairness to Mr. Sholmes, Mr. Roylott does look more like this man than you do. Yeah, I agree with that. That's not the point. Another thing, the part about him abducting the ballerina? Indeed, a truly startling revelation. At first glance, the case would appear too small to accommodate an illusion. Not just at first glance, it is too small, clearly. You'd be lucky to fit a 5-year-old in that case, even if you push really hard. I don't suppose the missing ballerina is a 5-year-old child, is she? You mean you don't know? No, the young lady is 15. Yeah, so she's not gonna fit in there. Well, if she's 15, then 10 years worth of her would be poking out from the case. Some years ago, I read something pertinent, I believe. A troop of men consuming vinegar daily in order to promote a certain litheness in their bodies. Vinegar? For such a sour bunch, it would surely be simplicity itself to contort oneself into the confines of that small case. Oh dear, you might be thinking of contortionists in the circus, Mr. Sholmes. I don't know, man. This man. I don't know. Keywords fixing this mess? I don't know. Really? I don't believe this guy. Bro. What the heck? Thanks. What? Why? Let's go! Yes, this is correct. This is correct. I think maybe he's gonna use the shears to cut the paper. What the heck? His hair's so long. I present it?
Yes!
Dang, I look so smug. How did we not tell from her voice or something? It's not like I'm having fun or anything. We need the back of it. It's okay, we can look at the pictures. It's I was probably supposed to look at this earlier. Okay.
Yes!
Yep, she's got flowing golden locks, so. Ah! Whoa! That does not look okay! also says that in Sherlock Holmes, by the way. You're having fun. Why do I have to try it on? Oh, I can present.
Yes!
Dang, that is so much money. Dang. Ooh. What? Is there a cat in there? Is there a pet? Is it a pet? Is it a kitty? What? I don't know what the bookcase has to do with anything. Yeah, I think it's a pet. Oh shoot, I should have just presented it instead of reading it. That was an accident. Dang, whoa. I think they just ban you from going back on the ship ever.
Yes!
You'd probably be blacklisted if you broke the rules. be a cat. Please be a cat. Don't be a dog. Okay, what's weird though? Like, oh no, never mind. I was gonna say she should have been aboard this for quite a while, so I don't know why she wouldn't have like cut her hair sooner. But I think we went to Shanghai like recently, and not like as long as Nadhodo's been here, so it makes sense. That you just screamed because you saw the newspaper? Bruh. To please be a cat. Show me your animal. It sure was something. Ah! Darn it! Why? I'm tired. I think I'm gonna stop for now. Where's the save button? How do I save? G? Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed my voices. I hope you come and watch me next time too.